Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Knitmancy Podcast. I'm Valentina coming at you from Northern Virginia, and welcome to this oh so very crafty knitting, sometimes crochet, sewing, spinning, all sorts of crafty goodness podcast. So I have some things going that have happened this week. Nothing bad, all good. And so let's get started, as well as I have a little bit of chit chat. I, of course, got all sorts of fun stuff in the beginning with all of our creative goodies. And then, of course, as I said, I do have a little bit of chit chat as well as a little bit of news. So let's get started with some FOs. So I do have finished objects again that have not shown up on the podcast. Because, I start things in the middle of the week and they're things that I can quickly finish most of the time. So to start off, we have a hat. And this is the Shelden Hat by Rachel P., which is a free pattern on Ravelry. The only thing I changed was I added a pom-pom. Other than that, it's two pattern. The yarn is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in the Cadet colorway, which is a beautiful blue-gray color. Some lights it looks really blue, some lights it looks really gray. I don't have the end woven in here. And the pom-pom is made out of the same yarn. And I actually used my hand to make the pom-pom, which is kind of weird. And then, this isn't going to look like much, because it's not going to make much sense. Because I don't... Let me put it on then. Oh, yes, there we go. Yes, so this is the Boar Hunt Capelet from the Outlandish Knits collection by Julia Salzer, I think is how you pronounce her name. It's also knit in same yarn, Knit Picks Wool of the Andes bulky in Cadet. So it is a bulky weight yarn. And this little capelet is inspired by one worn by Claire in the Outlander television show. There's a little detail of it again. Free pattern. And I do need to stick a little ribbon on it and tie it and probably give it a nice little wash and block because the bottom doesn't sit very nicely. But it does have a seed stitch collar, which I absolutely love the collar actually, as well as seed stitch borders. It's cute. I have no clue how I'm going to wear it, when I'm going to wear it. It's cute. I was on a rampage this week, which again I'll talk about later, which involved just a lot. A lot happened. Now for the final FO. I actually have sewing. I'm so proud of this. I've been on a lookout. Everybody who seems to sew on these things always, or on their knitting podcasts, always is the same sort of, oh, I'm making dresses, I'm making skirts, and I'm not the sort to wear dresses or skirts regularly. I find it very uncomfortable just for me. My thighs rub a lot, and it's not pretty. But I was at Joann's, because it happens. Was feeling down, you go to Joann's. And so I have very blue, apparently. Okay, there we go. There's the right color. I have shorts. Shorts that turn the screen blue. Awesome. These are McCall's M0534 in view A. Let's see if I slip back. We don't turn the screen blue. And they are made in this lovely kind of honey-colored linen rayon blend. And it took like 1.25 yards. It didn't take a lot. And it does have nice deep pockets in the front. My phone fits in them. I have a Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. So the big thing is when you have pockets, does your phone fit? And My phone does in fact fit in the pocket completely, which is great. And we have butt pockets. Can we stop turning the screen blue? There we go. We have butt pockets. And there are actually darts in both the front and the back. Let's see, I'm going to turn the screen blue again. Nope. Yep, there we go. The front and the back. Cool. There is a zipper, as well as hook and eye closure, just to make sure that your shorts don't go anywhere. And just to show this, because I'm I think it's the cutest detail that I did. Aha, I used a different stitch. So mostly use straight stitches on this, except for down there at the bottom hem. And then I was going around the top and hand stitching the inner waistband, the waistband facing down. But I only got so far with that. For now, it's fine. It's done enough to where it won't be a pest. But, you know, that short's done. They're wearable. They're wearable. It's the biggest thing. And I love linen blend shorts just because they're comfortable. That makes my third pair. I would make that pattern again. It also has a view with a little scalloped edging at the bottom, and I think that's really cute, so I might do that version. I also have a pattern for some leggings. It's very possible. It's very possible that will happen. So next, we will move on to the works in progress. So we'll start with the same as it's ever been. We've seen this time and time again. One day they will get done. Someday soon, because I want to knit other socks. So we have my Fine and Dandy socks by Jessica Gore. Right? Sounds about right. And we now have the heels in and starting up the leg. The last time that I knit this knit this pattern, I actually hadn't done the little, it's like an eye of partridge heel flap on them. But that was because I'm, so great at reading patterns. What can I say? I'm just, the best at reading patterns. So I think I'm going to do another repeat or two of the flower pattern up the leg before doing the ribbing, which means there isn't much left on the sock. I would think I was going to go for 3 repeats up the leg. I don't like super tall socks. I have a couple of pairs of super tall socks, or like one pair of almost knee-high socks that I've knit. It was from a sock blank by Gail's Art. It's pretty rainbowy, sparkly sock blank, because of course rainbows. And now we'll talk about my final little work in progress, which, again, I said there's a thing that's been happened in yarn. Yeah, there's some yarn involved. So I have 8 balls of Knit Picks City Tweed DK in the Tahitian Pearl, because I was going to do one thing with it, and now I've decided to do another. So I'm knitting this cabled shawl. No pattern, just going with it and hoping for the best. So it's got this nice big cable pattern down the middle, cable panel, and then I have alternating stripes of seed stitch and stockinette stitch. I mean, I love the seed stitch section, but I know if I did it for the whole thing, I would not be a happy camper. I know this. So I mean, I've been keeping notes don't know how big it's going to be. I don't know how it's going to end. I'm winging it. It's great. It's how I roll. I just wing it all. So we'll see how this develops and what happens with it. It could end up being really, really neat in the end. And now, before I talk about what has happened this week, I did have something come into stash. This is a big deal. Because, as I said, it's a big deal. There's stuff that went down, so it's a big deal. So I got this skein of Feza yarn. It is the organically hand-dyed Harvest in Fig. So what that means is it was dyed with figs. They had a bunch. My yarn store, well, one of my local yarn stores, I have two that are about equal distance from each other, had this for the longest time, and I always thought it was really cool and really pretty. They had fig, pomegranate, citrus, ecru, and they had a black one. I can't remember what the black one was. And I had held up fig, pomegranate, and citrus together. It was really pretty, but I only got one skein of fig. And it is just kind of this weird olivey green color that I love, kind of brownish, showing really brown on screen. It is green, or definitely has green tones to it in real life. And it's a worsted weight yarn. Keep showing the bright pink tag that's on it from the store. And I actually have a skein of Malabrio Rios because this is a superwash merino. Rios is a superwash merino that I'm going to pair them together. What am I going to make? We will figure it out when we get there. So that's all of the knitting crafty stuff. Cool. Awesome. I didn't spin this week. I had thought I was going to yesterday, but I ended up working on my shorts instead because I needed to get the waistband on. So if that's all you wanted to hear, that was all you wanted to see. And I mean, my episodes aren't real long, so it's not like I feel offended if you leave now, but you're more than welcome to leave if you don't want to hear about what happened this week and the stuff that went on with me. Some of it's crafty related, surprisingly. So, what happened? I did a purge. I purged my stash. So I have a white sliding basket drawer thing from IKEA where I keep my yarn. So I'm very limited on how much yarn I can really contain in this thing. Currently, because I had it almost full. Like my drawers, some of them were real difficult to get open or closed, which is never fun. So I purged the stash. I purged it. It was the same day that I went and ended up getting this guy. I purged the stash. I took out the drawers and I did it took out half of the drawers, 4 of the drawers. It's got 6 drawers. Took 4 of the drawers and I went through it and I'm like, this I want to keep, this I can give away, and this just, no. So unfortunately there was yarn that got thrown away. There was partial projects that I didn't even want to salvage the yarn on that got tossed. I had 5 skeins of the Knit Picks Wool, the Andes worsted weight, not the bulky weight, the worsted weight that I started something with. Actually, I'd started 2 different sweaters with. Both of those sweaters got tossed because either it didn't look like it was going to fit me, or, the other thing was, oh, I don't really like this. This isn't working out how I want it to. So this stuff got tossed. Those 5 skeins of it was in the Fedora colorway, which is brown. Not like this where it's green tinged brown, which is a color I really like. No, it was brown. Just brown. Wasn't real exciting to me. It's not a color I reach for. A lot of my wardrobe happens to be black. Although it's summertime, so I end up wearing like a lot of pastel colors and a lot of light colors and a lot of lace on my shirts. And then shorts. I mean, I'm not even leaving the house today, and I'm wearing a pair of green linen shorts. Told you I like linen. I think they're actually a linen blend, but besides the point, like, this is my color scheme. It's black. Most of the year, I'm wearing black shirts. Always t-shirts because I'm lazy. Comfort over like anything else. So I wear a lot of black. I have like a bright green shirt, a couple of red ones, and I can see my closet because it's right over there. And jeans, it gets warmer. I wear shorts, tank tops. So I was going to knit a brown tank top out of wool. And it gets, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Virginia, when it's summertime, it gets hot and humid. So it's not like if you go out into more central United States, southwestern United States, where it's hot but it's dry. Here it's hot and humid. There is no escaping it. We have all the trees, and trees give off some amount of liquid. We have a lot of waterways. I say a lot, but like we have 3 rivers throughout the whole state, and lakes, ponds. You go out toward the beach, you get the Chesapeake Bay. And I mean, I live fairly far north. I'm like hour and a half out of DC, more or less. And even if I were at school, it would be really hot or it would be humid because my school is right on the river. So in reality, wearing something woolen in the summertime just doesn't work. Not happy, not comfortable, and again, as I said, it was brown. So I purged stash. I got rid of a lot. I have actually a drawer down at the bottom which has just acrylic yarns in it, which acrylic yarns aren't for everything, plain and simple. If you want to make something that's awesome for kids, or if you want to make like little dolls, like the amigurumi dolls, I've been known to make those, and I always use acrylic for that. And I don't know why, but I associate acrylic with crochet, and I probably shouldn't, because, you can make really beautiful crocheted items out of, wool. So I have a drawer full, it's not really full, of acrylic because it's great for testing. It has its uses. It has its purpose in the world. I'm plain and simple. I have acrylic and I don't complain about it too much. It's great for testing things out after all. And then above that, I have a drawer that has a bag of dog hair. Kid you not, bag of dog hair. And a bag of merino top in purple that I'm not going to really use. It's like spinning fiber. Sometimes I use it. Not very often. It's more of, oh, I think I want to try a thing, so let me pull out my purple merino. It's not my first choice. Just isn't. I use it sometimes as stuffing. Probably shouldn't. And then a small amount of my first hand spun, which is BFL silk blend in blues and greens. And then on my third drawer up, because as I said, I purged everything, so my drawers are fairly empty. Because I did get rid of a lot, and then what I did decide to keep, I organized, as you do. Because this is what you do when you're in a crafting slump and you don't know what to do with yourself. So in the third drawer up, since we're going from the bottom, I have had 8 skeins of it, I said. Yeah, I have 8 skeins. I have 6 of the skeins because 2 are in the shawl. Well, one's in the shawl, one's being worked into the shawl. I've got the 6 skeins of the the Knit Pick City Tweed DK, as well as like I think it's the Knit Pick Swish DK in black. It's got to be good for something. I've used it. It's partial skein. I've used it. It's got to be good for something else too. I'll figure that one out. Then above that, I have like all of my fingering weight yarn. Most of my fingering weight yarn. Let's put it that way. Full skeins, partial skeins. There's a couple of pairs of socks that will be made out of what's in there. It's pretty much stuff I was not ready to part with, or stuff I can still use. And then, so now we are up on our 5th drawer, which is full of, so there are 4 bags of scraps. By scraps, I mean leftover sock yarn. I know that there's like a partial skein of Brooklyn Tweed Shelter, the caribou colorway, so it's the brown and the white mixed together, and it's real pretty. It's not that I hate brown, it's just I hate that shade of brown. I mean, I like more fawny browns, but you know, whatever. So 2 of the bags are like stuff I've already put in to Fred, my brioche scrap blanket, and then the other 2 are bags of scraps to go into my brioche scrap blanket. And so in my 2 bags of scraps to go in, it does involve some DK weight and some sport weight yarn. So that should be interesting when I finally get up the courage to put those in. And it also houses, that drawer also houses my brioche scrap blanket Fred. So my 2 extra bags are for either, you know, if somebody wants to do some mini skein swaps or some scrap yarn swaps. I guess it's easier just to say scrap yarn swaps because a lot of people are making the granny stripe blankets, crocheted granny stripe blankets. I also think maybe I could do some really cool like brioche project with them. It's a thought. Maybe. I'll keep thinking on that. And then the top drawer is supposedly what I'll be casting on next or soon. So I have like 9 skeins in there, including this guy, that are supposed to be what I'm reaching for my next project. Supposedly. So my next pair of socks is in that drawer. And it's a really beautiful blue-purple skein. But I also have like most of the skein of the Hedgehog Fiber Skinny Singles from my Find Your Fade. I have a skein of Rota China Light, I think is what it's called, by the Fiber Company. That's another beautiful gray color. Apparently I like using grays. I've got a skein of Malabrigo Lace in the Glazed Carrot colorway, which is orange, which is an odd color for me. Skein of Malabrigo Rios, and that is in the Sandbank colorway, which is, again, beautiful. The skein of worsted weight, sounds about right, worsted weight Romney, as well as a skein from a sheep called Wookie. And that's a DK weight. So I was just testing the waters, trying to figure out what I want to cast on, and I'm very tempted to cast on with my Romney into a pair of like worsted weight socks, but it's 100% wool, but Romney's supposed to be strong, so it's questionable. I tend not to be super hard on my socks, but I have had 2 pairs of 100% superwash merino socks, which I've worn through, which is part of it might have been my fault for wearing 1 pair with boots, which would have been my first pair of Fine and Dandy socks. And I mean, it's not like I can't fix it. I can absolutely fix it. But, you know, I don't know. I'm lazy. I'll put it that way, I'm lazy. So, I mean, purging your stash. Do you do it? I think this is the second time where I've done something like this, where I just go through, and if I don't have any idea what I want to do with it, or if it's not of any use to me, I just kind of get it out. I don't care where it goes, it just needs to get out. Well, let me tell you, it didn't help me with my crafting slump, which would be why I used the Knit Picks Wool Bandies bulky twice, because I had 2 skeins, and again, it was just kind of, I like this yarn, but I don't know what I'm going to do with 2 skeins, so I'm going to make some things just so it gets out of stash. The same as with the city tweed. I just want it out of my stash, but I want to use it. I just don't want it taking up all the space. Because they were awkward amounts where it's not enough to make a garment, which was my original idea, but then, like with the city tweed DK, there was a garment I could make, but I wouldn't really wear it, I don't think. The dog just jumped up on my bed where my computer sits, so that's why the things are moving. So, at least it's straightened. At least it's straightened. In other news, see, we don't have the actual, news yet. In other news, things that happened this week, I got my second lobes pierced, both sides, and this little, you can't tell real well because quality is crap from my little webcam, but the little stud guys that I have in them are scissors. So that happened on Tuesday. I purged stash Saturday. It sounds about right. I purged stash on Saturday because I was in the craft slump, because I finished all the things. Then Tuesday went, my grandmother got her, up on her eardrum, kind of where this hole is on me. Kind of up there. She got that pierced. My mom got piercings, which we will not talk about. And I got my second lobes, so I was, the easiest. Just the most simple. Oh, okay, cool. And yes, little scissors, because, why not? And, see, did anything else happen? I made a pair of shorts. And this time I have studs, so I was practicing with applying studs onto things. So I have a pair of shorts, and on the back pockets there's 2 lines of studs. Well, it's 1 row of studs on each pocket, because I have Warped Tour coming up in July 11th, which doesn't affect the podcast in any way, shape, or form, because I'll be back by then. And then did my shorts. I knitted the things. Started with the shawl. Yeah, I think that's majority of what happened. When because we went down toward Richmond, which again is an hour and a half journey away. More or less. It depends on what 95 is doing, but 95 always has traffic no matter what time of day. It never fails. It's up until you hit Fredericksburg that clears up. But we had gone down the Richmond area to get the piercings done, because we go to, me and my mom get to a certain person, so we wanted to make sure that we were still doing that. And we really like this lady who does our piercings. I might have, nope, Strawberry Fair happened last weekend. Not this previous weekend, the weekend before. Don't think I mentioned that. Again, that was when we went down and were visiting in Richmond. And so I don't think anything else notable has happened. Not really. So I think that leaves me off with the news. Oh wait, I know what else happened. Yes, there was the shooting in Alexandria, which one of my favorite yarn stores is up in Alexandria. It's Fiber Space. Fortunately, nobody there was hurt. I live so far out of Alexandria. It's again, it's a 30-minute drive, 45-minute drive away. So, I mean, it didn't affect me, but all of our news stations were talking about it. They talked about it up through last night. they might still be talking about it because, again, I'm in Northern Virginia. It's 45 minutes away. But unfortunately, everybody here is fine. Oh yeah, and I got my hair dyed up again because I was getting a bit pale. So now I'll touch on the big news, which really isn't that much. Everybody does it. It happens. There will not be a podcast next week, probably. I'm going on vacation on Monday. I won't be back until Friday, and it might even be Friday evening. And since I use natural light instead of my overhead light, because the overhead light will give everything a yellow cast, I'm sure. And that's the last thing that I really want. But I will be at the beach during that time, so probably will get knitting done. Probably will not be back in time for podcasting. But you will be able to see me the week after. Yay. But I think that is all I have to say. Thank you for joining. You can find me, and I forgot to say this because I always forget to say this. You can find me on Ravelry as Knittermancer, and you can find me on Instagram as Middle of the Madness. Hopefully I will be picking up talking on or posting pictures on Instagram. Been notoriously bad at that because I'm shy. I freak out. People on the internet scare me. Why am I doing this? But that's where you can find me. You can find the podcast group on Ravelry under the groups tab as Knitmancy Podcast. Same way it's spelled here. And I hope you come hang around next time, which will be 2 weeks from now. Provided I don't forget. All right. Bye.